Just a quick little market review on Bitcoin, Saturday, April the 7th. This video is for educational purposes and not intended as investment advice. So Bitcoin putting in the higher low right here, which makes this harmonic pattern still valid. So I would be looking for this to at least run up here to test these averages, or this side of the triangle right here and hit resistance. From where we're going to go from there will be determined. I actually think that there's no reason to chase this right now because it's most likely going to come up here and then come back down and give another opportunity. And that's because I see what could possibly be the confluence of another completion pattern right here. So right here we have this harmonic pattern that came to a completion here. And as long as we put in a higher low right here, it's still valid. Yes, it's going to grind its way out and make everybody confused in this time frame, or in the smaller time frames, because we're looking at a daily chart. You have to understand like how to relate time frames to how you feel about the market and the sentiment in the moment, in a sense. Like if you're looking at a move to manifest like this from this point right here of completion back up, you're talking that could take possibly weeks to play out because we're looking at daily candles here. And there's no telling that it's just going to go right up. It could actually do exactly what it did and still be technically valid, where we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, basically a whole week where we did nothing here and came back to almost where we started. But we did that while the higher time frame momentum could reset. And so now we have a reset of that momentum on like the daily, the 3-day, the weekly, the 2-week even is going to reset on Sunday. So there's a lot of indication just in momentum and this completion pattern here that we could have come to a possible midterm or short-term bottom right here, at least to get a bounce up to here or a bullish run back up. Now, another thing that I noticed that was pointed out to me actually from a friend who's a more seasoned trader than myself is that we may very well have a completion here of a 5-wave set with what's called a truncated 5th wave. And what happens with a truncated 5th wave is the usual Elliott wave principle is that you have 5 waves. But sometimes this 5th wave, it doesn't have enough momentum to clear the top of wave 3. It has all of the other factors of an Elliott wave where it has subwaves and it hasn't enough of an impulsive gain. But sometimes when this 3rd wave, gets very extended, the 5th wave can't breach the top of it and it becomes what's called a truncated 5th wave. Now, they show up very, very rarely, so rarely that I really don't think about them too much. But a friend of mine who's a seasoned trader, who's been trading way longer than me, he pointed out to me yesterday when we were talking, and that's kind of adds a little layer of confluence that we very well could have reached the bottom of a 5-wave set, but the 5th wave just couldn't manifest below the peak of this wave right here. If that's the case, then it's adding a layer of confluence to me that we have 2 patterns now that are showing us possible completion and reversal, the Elliott wave and the harmonic. Now that would possibly, we don't know right now if this is going to break the resistance and run to 30 grand, or if it's going to bounce off of there and then break this support and run down to 3,000. We don't know. We just have to play the moves for as they come with the long-term goal intention in mind. For me, whether we're going up or we're going down, I'm trying to stack Bitcoin. Understanding that, yes, sometimes Bitcoin takes a temporary value loss, but in the long run, it's going to have a lot more value. And so being a swing trader, you have to kind of come to a balance with that. I want to show you the technically how whether we bottomed out here or whether we come down here, the next goal or the next target in sight of liquidating Bitcoin at a higher value would be 30,000. Okay, like the 1.1618 extension back up from this wave is going to be, if we fall down to here, the 1.168 extension is 30,000. If we actually put the bottom in here of the reversal, then we're talking about 28,800. as a next real possibility of an extension off of this emotional wave down to get that extension back up to these levels. So I still have a target up here, whether we're getting Bitcoin in this zone or whether we're getting it here for this. It's about playing the opposite of what the market's going to do and being prepared for it. I feel like there's going to be a really good opportunity to short this thing for anybody who wants to short it once we get to here. Okay, whether these, we'll have to see where these averages are in a couple days, but my guess would be that these would flatten out a little bit because the price will be rising, and then the price will catch up to them probably somewhere around this line between 8,500 and 9,000. That will be a very good place for the sellers to step in again, and we'd have to watch out for that and how the mid time frame momentum, if the 6 hour and 4 hour are running out of steam and they're like really overbought once we're getting up in the zone, and the longs are at an all-time high, then there's a really good chance we're going to sell down. So I just want to lay out what I see for the market either way here. There's a midterm run back up, but we'll most likely meet resistance here. I mean, we have the cloud there. On the daily, we have this triangular resistance as well. This technical pattern usually is good for at least a 50% retracement back up, which would be, yeah, right about here at about 9,000. So keep that in mind. Okay, we're definitely going to meet some resistance there. But what could very well happen if this was a reversal pattern in here is we should make a higher low. We should keep making higher lows now. This entire thing will be invalidated, and we will start our cascade down to 3,000 if we break this line. We will most likely come down and find levels of support, 5,200, bounce back up, 4,800, bounce back up until we finally work our way down. This is the middle of the road. Like if we break this line right here, then there's a lot of denial of bullish continuation. There's no pennant going on. If we break this line, there's no pennant. There's no harmonic reversal. There's no Elliott wave reversal. It's just a cascade downfall. So that's something to look out for as well. The other thing to mention is that if this was a completion of a 5-wave Elliott set, it has all the elements for it, except this would be a truncated 5th wave. So the reversal back up could very well break this resistance, but it could also come here, fall back down, and make a higher low itself and create a 2-point and then break and run like this and do something like this. Whether this impulsive wave would make it all the way to 28,000, 30,000 or not, we don't know. I'm just showing structurally what could happen in an action-reaction type of scenario. So as far as entering the market now, I would wait until I see the next significant sell-off, because at some point the hourly just reset here. At some point this is going to get exhausted. Let's check our mid-time frames. The 4 hour is going to be running into resistance here soon. So I really wouldn't even buy this right now if I wasn't in the market until I see what the weekly is going to do, honestly, because it's Saturday, the new weekly candle's tomorrow. There's no reason to rush into the market right now. I would wait, see how the weekly is going to open tomorrow, because we are at a point where that weekly that opens is going to be on a reset of momentum of stochastic RSI, which means there's a lot of strength that could grow from here. That's also the reset of a 2-week stochastic. Oh, sorry, it's not the reset, but it could reset because there is a new 2-week candle coming tomorrow. So we'll have to see. It's not in the position to reset yet, but if the weekly resets and we get bullish momentum, then yes, this will pull itself up and it will be a new 2-week candle starting tomorrow. So I can see that new 2-week candle and that new 2-week candle, which will be another new weekly candle as well. They're going to have to put in some sort of a low, if that makes sense. Meaning that when this next candle prints, okay, this is the week that we're in right now. tomorrow night at 6 o'clock my time, there will be a new candle that prints. That candle itself will probably put in a low before it rises, if that makes sense. Meaning that I'm going to wait to see what tomorrow does on the open, and on the lower time frames, think about getting the low, the next low that looks like it's being made, considering that that's probably going to be the weekly and the 2 weekly low for that candle that gets printed. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm just trying to tell you guys how I read these candles and what I'm possibly expecting in confluence with the reset of momentum and the mid time frames possibly getting overbought, and then there being a sell-off to put in that low, but it would be the low for the week. And that's what I want to get. I want to get that low for the week in that zone so that when the candle starts to grow, I'm at the bottom and the base of that candle. Hopefully that made sense. Yeah, we're probably, when the 4 hour and the 6 hour, 6 hour is just resetting though. It's kind of mid time frame. But either way, I would like to see what the weekly tomorrow opens at in relation to the candle that we're in now, and then wait for that to put in a low sometime. That low may be tomorrow night, it may be Monday afternoon, it may be Tuesday morning. We don't know. We have to really look at the lower time frames and say, okay, from this growth, the sell-off is happening now. That would probably be a good time to buy the dip of that. And that's basically the way I want to read it. And then as far as all the other trades, I'm not taking any new trades in any other altcoins right now. I'm waiting because everything's just so choppy, like maybe 5%, 10% gains, and then the market backs off. The Tron that from the signal from that trade, up 20% on that, and now it's back to like 15%. I'm just gonna hold that because, like I had originally said, it's like maybe like a 2-week hold, a longer picture being painted there. So I'm gonna continue to hold the coins that I have with the parameters that I laid out the last time I made an update. And then let's just touch real quick on EOS, because I really see EOS starting to make that move, honestly, right in here. I wouldn't really consider this a breakout. I guess technically it broke out, but it's not a very clean breakout. But we are starting to see right about here, it looks like, we have from the top this resistance that it's been holding us back for quite some time. Now we have 6 hour time frame, momentum reset, cloud painting bullish. We've broken the resistance here, but we came back down, fell below it, but actually just left a bunch of wicks, and now we're pushing off of it. So there's a very good chance that the EOS analysis is starting to play out from the last video. So I'm loaded up. I decided that I'm just gonna buy the zone with the same parameters of stop loss that I laid out in the last video, which is about 4. I mean, at this point, I would stop out at like 550 again, because I wouldn't want to take that much, and I would buy lower with the same analysis. I want to express to you guys, like, trading is not an exact science. Like, trading is reading the charts is one thing, and then trying to get the placement is another thing. The advantage, and I've said this so many times with cryptocurrency, is that when you're trading Forex, your analysis can be so exact and you can be so correct 100%. But if your placement and your timing is off, you can lose your money before you even have a chance to make money. The advantage in cryptocurrency is there's no, it's not highly leveraged positions. So you have room to play in your placement so that you can take a temporary loss for the bigger gain. And so that's why I'll give this trade a little bit of swing here. And if it doesn't go my way, I'll stop out with just a partial loss, and then I'll buy it again a little bit lower with the same analysis in mind. Because sometimes you have to take the trade 3-4 times and get the right placement before the analysis plays out, because that's just the way the market is. It's really hard to, especially in, like, if you guys are trading on BitMEX and stuff like that. I mean, I hardly trade on leverage like that unless I want to really just boost my Bitcoin on like a very impulsive move. But almost all the times that I made a lot of money on BitMEX, my account was super negative and close to liquidation. Almost all of the times, like where the price was against me because your placement is just a little bit off, like, and the market moves back down and will, like, the only advice I can really say is that if you have your analysis and you really think it's going to go a certain way, when it starts to look the opposite way and scary as shit, stick to your fucking analysis and try it again, because most likely, because you need to buy that fear, you need to, or you need to sell that greed, like you really, depending on which way you're going. So when you feel scared and the market's moving the opposite direction of what you thought, that's most likely your opportunity to take the trade, if that makes sense, because it's definitely a psychological game. All right, keep stacking it, guys. Cheers.